The way people treat you isn't random. It's a response to signals you don't even realize you're sending, and some of them are quietly lowering your status every single day. Not your personality, not your intentions. The specific, repeatable communication habits you've built over years, most of them without realizing it, are broadcasting something to everyone around you, and that broadcast determines almost everything. How seriously people take you, how much they trust you, whether they want to be around you or quietly find reasons not to be. If people keep talking over you, underestimating you, or not taking you seriously, it's not bad luck. It's pattern recognition. And once you see the pattern, you can change it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You have been trained by school, by family, by every social environment you grew up in to communicate in ways that prioritize being liked over being clear, to soften things that don't need softening, to over-explain when a single sentence would have been stronger, to fill silence instead of letting it work for you, to agree when you don't agree because disagreement feels dangerous. These aren't character flaws. They're adaptations. They made sense once. And the worst part, the very habits that once protected you are now the ones keeping you small. The good news is that habits can change, not your personality, not who you are. Just the patterns, and changing a few specific ones shifts everything. Habit 1. Stop over-explaining your decisions. Picture this. Someone asks why you can't make it Saturday, and you hear yourself say, I have a thing, it's a family commitment, we've had it planned for a while, I really wish I could be there, I'm so sorry. Compare that to, I can't make it, I have a prior commitment. Same information. Completely different signal. The first person sounds like they're asking for permission they don't need. The second sounds settled. Most people learn that decisions need justification, that without an explanation attached, people will judge, question, or push back. So they explain, and then explain the explanation. And in doing so, they signal something they never intended to. I'm not sure this is okay. Duke researchers studying perceived confidence found that individuals who provided unsolicited justifications for their decisions were rated as significantly less assured and less authoritative than those who stated their position plainly. You don't owe a defense for every choice you make. And if that one stung, wait. Habit 2. Change how you take up space in conversation. You're in a group conversation. Someone asks your opinion. You start answering, but halfway through you trail off. You laugh a little. You add, I don't know, maybe that's just me. And just like that, you made yourself smaller than your own idea. Nobody pushed you out. You stepped out. Most people do one of two things in conversation. They dominate, or they disappear. The dominators fill every pause, redirect every topic back to themselves, and leave people feeling vaguely unheard. The disappearers shrink. They give short answers, deflect questions, and make themselves so easy to overlook that people oblige. Neither works. And both come from the same place. Discomfort with being seen at the right size. Taking up the right amount of space means something specific. It means finishing your sentences instead of trailing off. It means not laughing at the end of statements that aren't jokes, a nervous habit that undermines everything you just said. It means answering questions directly before you qualify them. Yes, and here's the context, lands completely differently than, well, it's complicated, I mean, kind of yes, but the people who get taken seriously in rooms aren't the loudest. They're the ones who say what they mean, without apology built into the delivery. And if that one felt familiar, keep going. Habit 3, stop fixing, start following. Think about the last time you told someone something that was genuinely hard, not a complaint, something real, something that cost you something to say out loud. And think about what happened next. Chances are they tried to help, they reframed it. They found the silver lining, they said at least, or they jumped straight to what you should do about it. And you felt not helped, something closer to dismissed, like what you'd said had been processed and filed away before it had even landed. That feeling has a name. It's what happens when someone leads with fixing instead of following. And most people do it constantly, not out of carelessness, but because they were never taught the difference between responding to someone and actually receiving them. Here's what it costs. Every time you rush to fix, you send a signal. Your discomfort with this situation matters more than their experience of it. You don't mean that, but that's what they feel. And over time, people stop bringing you the real things. They bring you the edited version. The safe version, the one that won't trigger your advice,
Johns Hopkins researchers studying therapeutic communication found that patients who felt heard before receiving advice were 3 times more likely to follow through on that advice. The advice was identical. The order wasn't. People don't resist help. They resist help that arrives before they feel understood. So here's the habit. Next time someone tells you something difficult, don't move, not yet. That sounds exhausting before, here's what I do. How long has that been going on? Before, I went through something similar. One moment of acknowledgement before any movement toward resolution. Stay in it with them for just a moment longer than feels comfortable. Imagine a friend tells you they're thinking about quitting their job. Your instinct, have you thought about talking to your manager first? Their experience of that, you heard the problem and immediately tried to make it go away. What they needed, that's been building for a while, hasn't it? 3 seconds of staying, and suddenly they're telling you the part they haven't told anyone else. Not because you said the right thing, because you didn't rush past them to get to it. That's the difference between someone people vent to and someone people actually trust. Habit 4, let your discomfort show selectively. There's a version of strong communication that looks like nothing ever lands, unreadable, unreactive, and it reads as either arrogance or absence, neither of which builds connection. Real communicative presence includes letting people see when something matters to you, when you're uncertain, when you're genuinely moved by what they said, not performed, not announced, just not hidden. The specific habit is this: when something is difficult to say, name that it's difficult. This is hard to bring up, but that's not weakness. It's precision. It tells the other person exactly how to receive what's coming. It lowers their defenses before your words arrive, and it signals something rare. You're willing to be uncomfortable in service of honesty. MIT researchers studying interpersonal trust found that voluntary disclosure of discomfort increased perceived authenticity and trustworthiness more than any other single communicative behavior. Not confidence, not clarity, honest acknowledgement of difficulty. Habit 5, control how conversations end. Most people put all their attention into how a conversation starts, and almost none into how it ends. But endings are what people carry with them. The last 30 seconds of an interaction determine how someone will remember the previous 30 minutes. And most conversations end badly, not with conflict, but with drift, fading out, trailing off. Both people slightly unsure of what just happened. The habit that changes this is deliberate closure. Before you leave a conversation, any conversation that matters, land it. Summarize what you heard, name what you're taking with you, make explicit what happens next, if anything does. What you said about that is going to stick with me. I'll follow up on Thursday. I'm glad we talked about this. These aren't formalities. They're signals that the conversation was real, that you were present for it, and that you know how to close a loop. Cornell researchers studying relationship quality found that perceived conversation closure was strongly associated with trust, satisfaction, and the desire for future interaction. People don't remember the middle of conversations. They remember how they felt when it was over. Here's what ties all 5 together. Every one of these habits is a form of intentionality. You stop explaining when you don't need to. You take up the space you're allowed. You follow before you lead. You let difficulty show. You close the loop. None of it is performance. All of it is signal. And the signal accumulated across every interaction is the same. I know what I'm doing here. I'm present. I'm not asking for permission to be in this conversation. That signal, quiet, consistent, unannounced, is what changes how people treat you, not one conversation. The pattern across all of them. Most people wait for others to treat them differently before they change how they communicate. That's the wrong order. Change the signals, watch the treatment change, not because people changed, because you stopped broadcasting uncertainty. If this landed, the next video goes into why most people struggle to change these habits even when they know exactly what to do. It's not discipline, it's something older than that.